Hi, I'm Chris Martirano with American Music and Sound and our great friends here at Craft Music, the home of the fantastic bundles, offering amazing value. I'm going to be showing you today Sledge, Black Edition. What a beautiful instrument this is. Those of you that may have seen the yellow Sledge, this is the latest in the Sledge line. And it features pretty much identical features with the addition of hotter outputs, and now LFO2 can be free running and maintain its phase no matter when you start new notes. So think of it as a global LFO that's running. So those are the essential differences under the hood, but I'm going to dig in and talk about what is Sledge in case you've never seen one. If you want to know more about the yellow Sledge, of course, watch the video found at Craft Music. The Sledge is a powerful synthesizer with 24 voices. The initial software, version 1, had only 12 voices. This is running version 2 software with 24 voices. The instrument does virtual analog, meaning you have filters, subtractive synthesis, where you add oscillators together, you run them through a common filter with resonance, you have envelopes, and you basically run them then through effects. There's also wavetable synthesis under the hood here. Those of you might be familiar with the older PPG or instruments that sweep through wavetables. Those waves are a little more interesting than the initial sawtooth, square, sine, things found typically in analog synthesizers. You also have user sample memory. There's 60 megabytes of user sample memory. So the user can load their own samples in and then run them through the architecture, through the cool filters, through the envelopes, through the effects, and the modulation system. There's 2 LFOs, and the LFOs have multiple different waveforms, including sample and hold and a ramp. And then you also have multiple destinations in the matrix to where you can route the modulation. So let's get right into listening to the instrument, because to me that's the part that's fascinating. It's capable of some very fat sounds. I'm also going to show you some of the other interesting things you can do with the subtractive synthesis side of it. There's a very cool arpeggiator in, mostly offering the standard up, down, multiple octaves, but still very cool to use. I combine that sometimes in some of the programs I make. The next example I'm going to show features a synthesis technique called hard sync, where we sync one of the oscillators to the other. It's popular in a lot of songs that came out in the 80s. Still a great sound. The instrument features both polyphonic mode and mono mode. In mono mode, you have a single trigger allowing you to play legato, or a multi-trigger, so that each note that you attack reattacks the envelope or the filter or whatever you have the attack controlling. Here's polyphonic. Monophonic. This is a single trigger. Here's a multi-trigger. So you can hear a separate attack each time I strike a new note. Still monophonic mode. Here's a great program showing you an effect. That effect is created by modulating FM. There's FM in the instrument that allows me to modulate one oscillator against the other, one being a carrier and the other being the signal. Let's listen to a few more programs. This one is using the resonant filter and wind, or in this case noise, to simulate tuned wind. There are two noise sources, white and pink noise. That patch is using white noise through a resonant filter that's tracking the keyboard. The end result is it sounds like almost an additional oscillator. A lot of different cool sounds. Here's a high-pass filter. Really great sounding filters. I'm going to show you now a variety of lead sounds that I made that are reminiscent to sounds found on records I loved back in the 70s. Here's a patch I made that sweeps through a variety of different waveforms in a wavetable. That's such a great sound. Oscillator 1 on the instrument allows you to select either a wavetable, in this case there's an icon that shows me with an LED illuminated next to it, and I could just simply step through and listen to each one of the waves. There are many, and they're identified in the display as I turn it. Names like saw sync 1, pulse sync 3, sine sync, PWM pulse, distorted, on and on. So there's a ton of different waves, and you can use those statically or you can sweep through the table. in any amount of the table you want to sweep through, using an LFO or using a physical control. That's very, very cool. Studiologic provides a librarian program and also a sample editor program called Spectre. These are both free to the users, and they allow you basically to create key maps with your samples and to place them across in arrangements across the keyboard and then load them into the instrument. The librarian program does what you'd expect, to organize your programs in any order you like, to transfer them into the instrument, and also to archive them. Version 2 software also allows the Sledge now to split or layer. I'm going to make a layered program for you right now. The way it works, you start with a program you like, and then by holding 2 notes down, you can scroll to another program or type the program value in the keypad, and that will then become the top layer. The live front panel is only live to the top layer. The original program you started with is held in a buffer. So that can't be edited once you've made a layer. Only the top layer can be edited. The same for a split. So I'm going to start with this first program called Sledge Power. I'll hold 2 keys down, and I'm going to scroll to program number 4. Now I have a layer with Omni Lord, it's called. In that example, you heard a monophonic program being layered on top of a polyphonic bed. It's very, very cool. So that's the Studiologic Sledge, Black Edition. Very cool instrument. 24 voices, virtual analog, wavetable synthesis, FM, cool effects, the ability to split or layer, user sample memory in a beautiful looking package. This instrument looks great. You'll be seeing it on a lot of professional stages. For more information on Studiologic products, contact your friends at Craft Music. Thanks again for watching. I'm Chris Martirano.